Okay guys, so here we go. Welcome back to yet another episode on my channel. Wanted to thank you guys all for tuning into the first episode that I shot today on the Omega Seamaster Professional 300 meter, my full-on in-depth review. I hope that you all enjoyed that, watching as much as I enjoyed making it. But now I wanted to get into the second watch that I purchased kind of recently. And it's going to be slightly different, but it complements the Omega very well. At least I think so. So kind of like how we did in the previous episode, let's start, of course, with the outer and inner boxes. Just to let you guys know before we start, I am doing a review on the Christopher Ward C60 Elite 1000 watch. Just came out on Christopher Ward's website not too long ago. And I do have the version. Let me just bring this up here for a quick second so you guys can see. I'll show you guys a quick little snapshot of it on the computer. The reference number on it is C60-42ADD3-T0BB0-B0. And the version that I did get is, of course, that right there. And we're going to start to go into the details in a little bit. But, you know, of course, before we do, let's get into, just want to make sure that that's holding kind of steady. It is, good. Let me get into, good. I want to make sure I have the features up here. But, so, anyways, this comes with, you know, unlike the Omega a little bit, of course, comes with a outer box, just kind of covers the outer inner box a little bit, and it's just, you know, kind of this flimsy little, you know, cardboardy kind of light box. Nothing too special there, of course. But then when you get to the start to get to the inner box a little bit, this is a slightly nicer. Just the feel of it is like almost like a kind of like a leathery whatever it is type with wooden kind of accent here, but you know, it's nice, easy to grip, and pretty easy, of course, to take off. And this here just inside, you know, it's like a little suede there, which is kind of cool, like was on the bottom of the Omega box. But again, just very durable outside, used to shell the housing of housing shell, whatever it is. So of course here I says, you know, Dear Mr. Sharp. That's, I think, like handwritten on or whatever it is. But this just kind of gives the outline of the 60-60 guarantee with Christopher Ward. So this is, of course, is everything that comes with my watch. Again, I don't care about showing this to you guys because it really doesn't matter to me. And then, you know, you want to register online if, you know, for some reason, I guess you're not the original owner. But you do get a 60-60 guarantee. And that is actually 60 months movement warranty. And then 60 month. So if you do the math, 4, 6, that's guess 5 you know, 5-year whatever it is guarantee. I don't think it's 60 days, at least I don't believe that it is. I could be kind of wrong, but yeah, not only do you have the 60 days to return your watch for a refund, you are completely satisfied, but for absolute peace of mind, its movement is also covered under warranty for 60 months. So you got the 60-day guarantee, 60-month warranty on the movement. Very similar to the Omega. Again, we're just talking about complementing here. These are, as it says, designed in Britain, but built in Switzerland. These are Swiss-made watches, although I know a lot of people kind of discount them a little bit, but they are pretty quality made. You do get the owner's handbook, which is cool. It's, you know, like in a nice little just different kind of pamphlet here. And one of the cool things I was hoping to I think I just flipped through it, but this kind of just shows you, you know, obviously the operations with everything, and it gives you the technical information on the watch. One of the things I wanted to get to was, say, that's going to be kind of cool, what we're going to get to in a second. Anyways, owner's handbook, very nice. Next thing that you do get, I don't even know if I opened this one up yet, to be honest with you. It's actually a nice little polishing cloth here, which is actually kind of cool. So not too bad. Again, you know, it's kind of like if you guys watched my previous video with that carrying pouch, by the way, with Omega, that could actually be doubled as a cleaning cloth. So just another nice little thing that Christopher Ward does include, which is, you know, just kind of cool. I think is nice. The watch itself came on this, I guess, holder. It's similar material to what the outer box is here. It's just going to be slightly softer than what the outer box is. And it's just here to use to, just to hold the watch in place while it's sat right here in the, you know, sat flush in the case. So again, you know, there's some multiple layers here. And of course, the inside is a very similar to material to what this little watch holder thing is here. But, you know, nothing crazily luxurious, but it's nice at the same time. And again, it's durable. Let's just say it's very, very durable material as packaging. So let's slowly start to get all this stuff back in here. And you know, of course, we're gonna get to the meat and potatoes of this episode in a second. But that's the outer and inner boxing and whatnot, which is, you know, again, kind of cool, kind of nice. I happen to, you know, like the presentation package, but it's more so about what's to come inside the watch. So here we go. I was actually just wearing it, so watch is running, and here we go. And of course, I did resize it. I needed to take 3 links out for my 7.25 inch wrist. So, guys, let's get into this a little bit here, and I'm going to go through the technical features in a minute. But first, what I wanted to just do is I wanted to just kind of show you guys here. Sorry if the lighting's not the best. Let me just give the watch a little bit of a wipe off here. There we go. Looks a lot better now. So the watch is chronometer certified. It is water resistant to 1,000 meters, which is 3,300 feet. Kind of ridiculous. It's got the date, and it also has a unidirectional rotating bezel. We'll get to all that stuff in a second. Screw down crown. I just wanted to kind of give you guys the little bit of the kind of tour just of the watch a little bit. Of course, you guys see the movement there. Christopher Ward signed on the clasp here. And we're going to go into all the reasons. HE, that looks familiar from the previous video. We're just going to go into, you know, everything in a minute. I just wanted to give you guys the walk around of the watch. So anyways, let's do this, right? So I just want to bring you guys to the website for just a second. So this is technically a grade 2 titanium case, which is water resistant to 1,000 meters. It does have the display case back, revealing a chronometer certified movement. Chronometer is -4 to +6 seconds per day rated. And the rotor is decorated. It has the date complication. And 77 grams with the titanium. But is robust. Will withstand many of the planet's toughest environments. So anyways, that is very, very, very true. So let's go into, and yes, that is the price that I did pay for this watch. And we're going to go into why it is that much. So let's get into the technical details for a second. So I'm going to bring the watch back into the picture for you guys so you guys can see it, of course. So the diameter is, and let's get that rolling here. The diameter cross is going to be 42 millimeters. What I will do is I will put this on my wrist so you guys can see it on my 7.25 inch wrist yet again. And as you guys can see, again, really no digging into the side of my hand or anything. And again, this is titanium, so when I put this watch on, a little problem focusing there. It's a little strange, but I guess it happens. There we go. So when I do put this on my 7.25 inch wrist, it's just, let me just get the camera adjusted here a little bit. Again, just super comfortable. It is half the weight of what stainless steel is, right? So no issue when it comes to weight. That's one of the biggest reasons, of course, why I purchased this watch. To have a steel and titanium, in the collection, especially as a dive watch enthusiast, I just happen to love it. I mean, this thing is, I'm telling you, it is so light. It is so amazing. I happen to love it. So 42 millimeters in diameter. The height is 15.4 millimeters. So certainly slightly chunkier than the 13.6, I believe it was, of the Omega Seamaster Professional 300 meters. The reason why, though, is this. First of all, the helium escape valve here is built into the case, but it does also have the 1,000 meters right there of water resistance. So usually the higher the water resistance on a watch, usually the thicker it's going to be. That's just how the case is designed, and it's really got to be extremely robust. However, the weight is 77 grams just of the watch head. Now with the full bracelet, on the full 21 centimeter bracelet, I took some links out. It is 133 grams. So again, super light. Half the weight just about of stainless steel, which is nice. In the back of the watch here. And I wanted to try to get the really good shot of the movement here, so just bear with me for just 1 second. So here we do have a Sellita SW220 movement that is COSC certified. Now, I will preface, I know you guys probably see some scratches on this. One of the things that I will admit that I did was I actually opened up the watch myself. I put it on my time graph when I was wearing it. The watch was actually running just slightly on the slow, like slightly slow every day. It's like a half second slow. I prefer my watch to run fast. So what I did was I did open up the case back, and I adjusted here very finely. I'll kind of show you guys here. Automatic watches have this right here. Let me see if I can get my fingernail on a little bit. This little screw, I'm just going to move the rotor a little bit more out of the way here. This little screw right over here. And what I did was I just turned it ever so slightly, as you guys can see, to move it on the plus side. So that's just what I did to get it a little bit more accurate. Just for me, I needed to run a little bit on the faster side. Did it compromise the water resistance? No. I made sure that the seal was firmly put back into place. There was no issue. Again, I have experience with regulating watches myself, so really no issue there. But again, this movement is not even decorated anywhere near the Omega, not anywhere near as good as the Omega is, and I'm not saying that it is or not. I'm just saying that the titanium is a great complement, of course, to the steel. As I mentioned before, the case is grade 2 titanium. It's just the next statistics that I had up on this watch. The water resistance, as I mentioned, is to 1,000 meters, which is 3,300 feet, as you guys saw here already. Of course, let's not forget that it is Swiss made. and there are some more. It's another surprise coming. This one does beat at 28,800 vibrations per hour, 4 hertz. Although the biggest difference between this and the Omega that I have is that this one has a power reserve of 38 hours. Again, as I mentioned, in the industry standard, it's usually 38 to 42 hours. The Omega has 55 hours. And I'd like this to obviously be longer, around 40 plus, but it's 38, which is fine. The timing tolerance from the factory is -4 +6. However, I did get it down to, I believe it's around 2-ish seconds a day, so it's actually timed a little bit better. I think it's like 2.5 seconds or so. It is timed slightly better than the Omega, which is at around 3.5 seconds a day, but both watches still performing amazingly beautiful. In terms of the dial color, it's blue. Let me put this video on pause for just 1 second. All right, so what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring this into just slightly different light. Obviously, we're not shooting this video outside, so I just wanted to give you guys just slightly different views and different light. And of course, this one has applied stick hour indexes, which means that they're applied to the dial. It's a little bit of like a 3D stadium kind of feel. The same application that the Omega has, so it kind of pops a little bit, which is nice. But I wanted to just show you guys, does have the nice blue dial, as well as the blue ceramic, of course, and orange ceramic bezel, very similar to the Omega. It has all the minute markers and the hour markers marked on the bezel, and so you guys can just see the watch in different lights. So it's more of like a deeper blue, but it's when the light hits it, it's very, very nice. I do believe it has anti-reflective coating on both the outer and inner crystals. There's just a lot of light coming from this this light up here, so just kind of wanted to show you guys that in a different light. So, the next cool thing about this watch that I want to mention is it has Super Luminova grade X1 GLC1, and I'm going to show you guys that in just a minute. But before I do, I did want to let you guys know that the lug-to-lug on this watch is 49.3 millimeters. So that's the lug-to-lug. And the bracelet width here is 22 millimeters. And, of course, the reason why I didn't take this bracelet off and I did put a different mesh bracelet on the Omega is because this one's titanium. There's really no good mesh titanium bracelets out there, so I kept this one on the original strap. One of the things that I do want to mention here is the micro adjust. So I'm going to flip it this way, and I'm going to show you guys this, right? So let's say you want to make the watch bigger, whatever it is, after you adjust the bracelet itself. You're going to slide this little button out here, and look at that. So you have an extra 1, 2, 3, 4 clicks, which I don't know exactly how many millimeters it is, but the other thing you can do too is it has, if you wanted to take this part out here, has this little spring bar pin. You could always take that out if you need. I don't understand why you would, but a lot of times what I do is, and in the summertime what I'm going to end up doing is I adjust it to the first position. Sometimes after a shower or something like that, my wrist expands a little bit, and then when it's a little cooler, I just take it off and literally put it on my wrist. So let's get to the Lume now. Let's put this back on pause. All right, so guys, this was another huge reason why I did purchase this watch. The entire bezel looms up, including the lollipop seconds hand, and you do have the 15-minute track here, which lights up in a slightly different color. All the hour markers, hour minute hand, just everything. And the Lume is very generous, and it does last quite a long time. So again, one of my favorite parts of this watch. I happen to love it, and from all different angles, whatever it is, and complete darkness or whatever it is, you literally have no problem, literally no problem reading the time on this one. So that's very cool. So you guys just saw the Lume. I had to show that to you because that was absolutely unbelievable. So let's just go into, I guess, some of the finer details of this watch. So again, it is Swiss made. The movement itself, in terms of the jewel count, it is at 26 jewels, slightly lower from the 35 that Omega uses. Really can't compare the movements there. SW220 versus the Omega in-house caliber 8800 movement. So this one has 38-hour power reserve. The day-date calendar, which is right here. I feel like I got all this like little stuff on the crystal, but that's okay. So day-date, which is really nice and actually very easy to change, no problem. It has the central hacking seconds. So again, screw down crown. When we take the crown out to the first position, you can change the day and the date. When you take it out to the second position, the seconds hand stops. And you guys will see here, I'm going to move this forward. This should be about midnight, and you guys can see that's pretty much instantaneous date change, which is great. And then when you, I always like to change the day and the date at around 6:30. So get to 6:30 in the morning, take the crown back out to the first position, and the date changes seamlessly. And also, it's very easy to read, by the way, as you guys can see. I like the black and then the white accents. So something that's very, very cool. And again, to put the crown back in, press firmly, screw clockwise, and then the watch, the crown will go right back in. And again, to get it fully wound, all you need to do is really wind the crown about 40 to 50 times to get the full power reserve. You do have the anti-shock system in the movement, which is technically right over there. I'm sure this watch is, very, 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 very durable. You have the twin flag engraving over, finished on the rotor. I don't know, whatever that is, but, again, not particularly decorated very, very, very well. Not like a beautiful perlage like the Omega had, but still, it's nice. You're not buying this watch exactly for the movement, or at least I wasn't, to be honest with you. Although it is very accurate compared to most watches out there. Most watches do not chronometer certify their watch because it does cost extra to do that. The brushed and polished grade 2 titanium case. Again, super, super durable. We're going to go into the differences between stainless steel and titanium in just a second. And you have the embossed screwed-in crown, which I showed you guys before. Of course, with the crown guards over here. Although they're just not as pronounced. Like it like kind of like is a crown guard, but kind of not. It just, the crown just sits a little bit more into a not even recessed, like a slightly recessed part in the in the crown guard there. The integrated automatic helium release valve. This is actually really, really nice. The fact that it doesn't stick out, but you have it here. Again, when divers come up from decompression from mixed gas, saturation diving, helium, it's to prevent the crystal here from popping off or from gases getting in the watch and destroying it. You also have the 3.8 millimeter anti-reflective sapphire crystal. So it is a little bit more slightly domed here, as you guys can see. In terms of the 3.8 millimeters, I'm kind of surprised it's up that much, but as I mentioned, anti-reflective sapphire. The only thing that can scratch it is a diamond. The dial itself, instead of it being like polished, instead of it being sunburst, it's actually polished with twin flag matte finish at 12 o'clock. That's kind of like the logo-ish of Christopher Ward. Again, nothing too fancy or special with that, to be honest with you. You do have the, as you guys just saw before, the Super Luminova on the hands, indexes, and the bezel, which I just happen to love. There are, let's see here, symbolized polished hands. Yeah, I mean the hands are nice. Again, nothing too crazily special here. Broad arrow for the hour, and sword, whatever. And then you have the Christopher Ward Trident logo running around on the second hand there. That's just one of their marks that they do. The signature trident counterbalance on the second hands, which I just showed you guys. Now on the back, of course, is the case, as I showed you guys before, screw down. And now they're saying on the back that, of course, this is sapphire crystal. And unlike the front, which is 3.8 millimeters thick, this one is 3.4 millimeters thick. So again, slightly domed. But the other thing I want to bring your guys' attention to, because I did in the previous video, was the lugs, like, again, they don't even come close to crossing the case back here, because it is certainly slightly thicker because of the water resistance. But again, it's a very nice design. It's very comfortable. Does not dig into the back of the wrist. And titanium, one of the differences between that and stainless steel, it's more of a hypoallergenic material. So those with allergies, feel free to get a watch like titanium, and you won't show the allergic reaction like you would with stainless steel. The bracelet, as I mentioned, and the case are both grade 2 titanium with the micro adjustable clasp, which I just showed you guys before. I could show it to you guys again. Slide it out. That comes all the way back in. And then you have 1, 2, 3. I think it was 4, right? Let me just double check. We had 1. Hold on. I'm like sliding that in too quickly. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it was 4 micro adjust there. And then, according to Christopher Ward, it comes with the packaging itself is eco-friendly luxury presentation case and owner's handbook. I don't know exactly how eco-friendly it is, but I guess theoretically that it is. So anyways, guys, this is, as I mentioned, the watch that I did decide to get that complements the Omega. I just want to put this video on pause for just 1 second, because we're going to go now into the differences between steel and titanium. So guys, here we go. Titanium versus stainless steel. We're going to just go into kind of like the basic differences here for the most part. In terms of price, stainless steel is definitely a lot cheaper than titanium. And the biggest thing is just a different kind of material than what steel is. So that's the reason why. That's one of the biggest, things with titanium, is you guys could see the price that I paid. But it's a better and more lightweight kind of material. It's going to be harder than stainless steel, and we're going to get into that in a second. The other thing, like I just mentioned, was the strength. In terms of the strength of, and of course they show the G-Shock, because that's one of the most indestructible watches in the world. But so you guys can see it, and this is a big reason. It says there's a reason that titanium is used in the construction of aircraft that have to withstand some of the most brutal forces that nature can throw at it. It's funny how they mentioned Superman should have been called Man of Titanium. They wanted to really show how strong he was. It's just a much more durable material. It's just how it's made. Stainless steel is more of an alloy, they say, and titanium is more of a metal, so it can withstand more. This is one of the biggest reasons why people get titanium over steel, is the weight. As I mentioned before, it is like literally it feels like half the weight of stainless steel. The head of the watch is 77 grams. The watch itself is 133 grams. With steel, that would probably be well over 200 grams at least. So that's another advantage that you get with that. So, yep. Then, as I mentioned before, the allergy. Titanium is more of a natural material, where stainless steel is a little bit more man-made. So that's where some people with allergies get into sensitive skin and redness and itching. With titanium, it's more of a natural material, especially because there's no like extra coatings that go into it. So anyone that has allergies, I highly recommend looking at titanium, even though it's a little bit more expensive, and or going with a strap that can help cover the back of it, such as like a NATO, although they get a little bit dirty and nasty over time. And then finally, the other thing is the look, and I guess I will admit this. So steel is shinier. It's a more polished look than what titanium does. With titanium, it's going to be more of like a brushed. Going to be more of a brush. I want to make sure. Okay, yes, that's the last thing. So it's going to be more of a. It's going to be more of a brush look. A little bit more dull over time. Not dull over time, but just a little bit more dull looking than steel will. But again, to a lot of people in the watch community, titanium feels cheap, which I get. Like, I'm not disputing that fact, but I will say this. It may feel cheap, but I'll tell you something. This is so crazily durable. It's unbelievable. I mean, this will scratch more than stainless steel, although stainless steel watches scratch a lot. Don't kid yourself. If you get a stainless steel watch, you get scratches. People are always like, "Oh my God, what should I do?" Yeah, you could polish it out in steel and titanium, but titanium apparently will scratch more easily than steel will. But again, I keep my watches in good condition, so I'm not too worried about that. So I did just want to read this little paragraph to you guys, or at least summarize it. So Christopher Ward uses the grade 2 titanium case, which is the exact kind of material that's found in the James Bond Omega Seamaster watch for being used for No Time to Die. And so it has the highest strength to density ratio of any metallic element, and renowned for both its lightweight and corrosion resistant properties. So over time, it theoretically doesn't corrode like stainless steel will, although stainless steel really won't corrode too much unless it's really exposed to kind of a lot of elements over time. Of course,